It started as a regular night on Jimmy Kimmel Live, with the always charismatic Jeff Goldblum slated as the headline guest. Known for his quirky charm and philosophical tangents, Goldblum had been a frequent and beloved presence on late-night television. But what unfolded on this particular evening took both the audience and production crew completely by surprise. As the cameras rolled and Jimmy introduced him with his usual wit, Jeff Goldblum entered the stage with a dramatic flair, waving to the audience, dressed in a sharp silver jacket and black-rimmed glasses. The first few minutes of the interview were typical Goldblum, playful, erratic, filled with curious musings about the universe, jazz music, and obscure 1950s cinema. Kimmel tried to steer the conversation toward Goldblum's latest film, but the actor kept diverting into off-topic metaphysical theories. The moment things began to turn came when Jimmy lightly teased Jeff about a recent interview in which Goldblum suggested that reality may be a simulation controlled by sentient jazz musicians. Kimmel laughed it off, but Goldblum didn't. Instead, he leaned forward, his tone suddenly serious. "You know, Jimmy," Goldblum began, "mocking ideas just because they challenge conventional thought is exactly what limits human progress. You do understand that, don't you?" The audience chuckled, unsure if this was a bit. But Jimmy tried to smooth it over with a joke. "Well, I guess I'm still waiting for Miles Davis to patch my code." Jeff didn't smile. Instead, he replied, "Your reductionism is disappointing. It's not a joke to dismiss the unknown." The energy shifted. What followed was a surprisingly intense philosophical back and forth. Goldblum accused Kimmel of intellectual laziness, while Kimmel, visibly irritated, told him, "Jeff, it's a comedy show. Lighten up." The crowd was growing uncomfortable, sensing real tension. Goldblum then stood up mid-interview, removed his microphone, and said, "If you want to mock art and thought, then I'm not your man." Kimmel, clearly caught off guard, responded sharply, "Jeff, nobody's mocking you. But if you're gonna turn every question into a TED Talk, maybe you're on the wrong show." Security and producers rushed in behind the scenes, unsure whether this was a staged act. Goldblum, with a small but defiant bow to the crowd, exited the stage. The show quickly cut to an emergency commercial break. What happened after? Later, social media exploded. Clips of the argument circulated widely. Some praised Goldblum for standing up for intellectual discourse. Others sided with Kimmel, saying the actor overreacted on a platform meant for humor. Neither Goldblum nor Kimmel addressed the incident in detail the next day, though a cryptic tweet from Jeff read, "Truth is often unwelcome where laughter drowns thought. All my love." Rumors circulated that the network had banned Goldblum from future appearances, though no official statement confirmed this. The morning after the on-air clash, the entertainment world was in chaos. News outlets across the country ran headlines like, "Goldblum vs. Kimmel. Real talk or PR stunt? Late night turns ugly. Hollywood divided over Jeff's walkout." While Jimmy Kimmel's team remained silent, a source close to the production told Entertainment Wire that Goldblum's comments had blindsided the crew. Apparently, Jeff had agreed to a lighthearted interview during pre-show planning, but what happened on air was far from expected. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled to handle the situation. A meeting was held early that morning, discussing whether to release a statement or let the online buzz run its course. ABC executives were reportedly not pleased, especially as segments from The Awkward Moment went viral, garnering millions of views within hours. Meanwhile, Jeff Goldblum, who had returned to his hotel after storming off set, posted a cryptic message on Instagram. Greater than, "Honesty often makes people uncomfortable. That doesn't make it wrong. JG." The post was met with mixed reactions. Celebrities began weighing in. Chris Evans tweeted, "Greater than, respect to Jeff Goldblum for speaking his mind. It's rare in this industry." But others, like talk show host Bill Maher, weren't as supportive. Greater than, Jeff's job was to promote his work, not lecture the audience. There's a time and place. As the drama unfolded, fans began choosing sides. The debate spilled into Reddit, TikTok, and even morning news shows. Some called Goldblum a truth teller, someone brave enough to challenge media bias. Others labeled him disrespectful and arrogant for hijacking a comedy show with personal opinions. In the days that followed, Jeff canceled 2 upcoming press appearances, while Jimmy Kimmel made a subtle jab on his next show. Greater than, well, our guest tonight actually stayed until the end of the interview, so we're already doing better than Tuesday. It got a laugh, but the tension was still in the air. Industry insiders began speculating whether Goldblum would be blacklisted from other late-night shows or whether Kimmel would invite him back to clear the air. Rumors also swirled that the whole ordeal might have been planned as a controversial stunt to boost ratings, though both camps denied it. What's clear is that this wasn't just a one-night controversy. It tapped into something deeper, about Hollywood, free speech, and the role of entertainers in society. A week after the now infamous walk-off, the world was still talking. Memes of Jeff Goldblum walking off set, spliced with dramatic music and slow-motion effects, dominated social media. But behind the scenes, something more serious was happening, a private call between Jeff Goldblum and Jimmy Kimmel. According to a reliable source from Variety, Kimmel reached out to Goldblum directly. The two had shared a friendly working relationship for over a decade, making Jeff a frequent and beloved guest. But now, things were strained. The phone call reportedly lasted over 45 minutes. While no official transcript exists, an insider revealed key takeaways. Kimmel expressed frustration about being ambushed on his own show. Goldblum stood by his words but admitted he could have handled the moment with more grace. Both men agreed that the situation escalated due to miscommunication and timing. The conversation ended cordially, but there was no promise of a return appearance. "Let's give it time," Jeff allegedly said before hanging up. Meanwhile, Hollywood's response was evolving. A panel on The View dedicated an entire segment to the controversy. Joy Behar defended Kimmel, calling Jeff's outburst performative ego. In contrast, guest host Jon Stewart took Jeff's side, saying, "Sometimes the truth slips out, and when it does, it makes everyone nervous." Goldblum's agency, WME, released a brief statement. Greater than, Jeff Goldblum remains committed to open, respectful dialogue in all public forums. The events on Jimmy Kimmel Live were unscripted, and he expresses no regrets about encouraging honesty. Meanwhile, several major networks quietly postponed Goldblum's appearances on upcoming shows, citing schedule adjustments, a thinly veiled industry tactic to wait for the storm to pass. Surprisingly, Saturday Night Live joined the conversation, with cast member Bowen Yang playing a hilariously overdramatic version of Goldblum in a sketch titled, "The Guest Who Wouldn't Stay on Script." It went viral within hours, even prompting a laughing reaction emoji from Jeff himself on X, formerly Twitter. As July wrapped up, public interest began to fade. But one final twist kept the fire burning. Jeff Goldblum announced an upcoming podcast titled, "Off Script, Conversations Hollywood Won't Have." In his teaser, he didn't mention Kimmel by name, but the message was clear. Greater than, it's time we stop pretending and start talking. Unfiltered, uncontrolled, uncensored.